Hi and welcome to Griefly Gamer, and on this week's episode I'm looking at I Miss the Good Old Days. Hi, welcome back to the show, and if you like these videos please like and subscribe. I enjoy making them, so further ado, let's get on with it. Yes, and on today's episode we're just going to quickly, what I'm going to say is I miss the good old days. Back in the days, in the dark ages before the internet was king. And what we had back then was magazines. The old Nintendo Power, and I remember a magazine called Total. I remember these really fondly because it was like my only way of getting any news about games back then, back in the early 90s, and the odd TV program, of course. But I really miss those days because back then, when a game came out, you saw it in a magazine, and then you knew it wasn't too long before the actual game's released. When nowadays, with the internet, you find out about a game a whole year or 2 years before it's ever released, and to me it kind of it spoils the whole thing nowadays, where I think we know too much information about these games. Back then you had literally a maybe, if it was a good game, a 2-page article about what's coming up. Also maybe a little review when it actually finally does come out. So you got a preview, a review, and then maybe an issue after you may have a little game strategy guide. And so for about 3 months or so, or 3 issues of this particular magazine, you knew about that game. After that, no one, moves on to the next one. But I liked it, because nowadays, when you find out about a game, I feel that nowadays they rush a game to market because they have all this publicity. They pump so much money into the actual internet presence. Everything from YouTubers reviewing games, previewing games. You got now the online marketing campaign. Not so much TV adverts now. I think everything's gone more online. Which is kind of the way our media consumption's going, case in point. So yeah, I kind of miss those days when you you picked up a magazine and the only thing you knew about the game was 6 or 7 still shots and whatever was written in the article. I miss those days. But now, as I say, now they rush. It's all about momentum. Marketing momentum. I mean, these big companies with AAA games, you end up consuming every last morsel of this damn game, and you haven't even picked up the joypad. A case in point, where I just recently got over it, is the new Zelda game. Now, my God, the amount of publicity this game. It's a goddamn Zelda game. I mean, what more do you really need to honestly know about this game? You know it's going to be good because it's Zelda. But over on all the online sites and everything like that, it was just constantly spoon feeding you. Oh, this is the new secret that could be in the game. I mean, come on. I know they're just reporting the news just for the news' sake, but really, I feel they spoil games now. I feel they go round and they give absolutely every bit of information to you, and then by the time you actually get the game, fucking hell, you've already bloody played it. Yeah, it's just getting old to me. And a lot of the time I do, when I go, oh, look at this, I will watch a trailer of a game that I fancy, but I don't want to click on anything else. I mean, I will read the review, and that's it. I mean, I don't want to know about big walkthroughs. Hey, I played the first 6 minutes of this game, and it's all the same. Oh, this is really good, this is really good. Then the game comes out and it's a pile of poo. So, yeah, I think the media in how keeping a momentum going for a game nowadays is a lot more harder. I think back then when you had a magazine, you only had a few months to pique the interest of a consumer. And that was it. Now you've got years trying to keep the interest going on this game. One right now is the new Shadow of Mordor game that's be coming out, the sequel, and it's right now. It started just after Christmas. You get a little, oh, it's coming, Shadows of War, and now we're getting every other story is all about, oh, this is a little bit here, this, so they're just explaining the whole game to you. It doesn't leave anything to the gamer to discover, which is our fault as consumers of this media, as much as anything else. But to me, it's just letting me down. I know it's going to be a good game. I enjoyed the first one. I still play it. And now the sequel's coming out, so I'm obviously going to pick this game up. Yeah, so I'm good. But keeping the momentum for a product, it's the same with movies and TV, but they're a little bit more structured these days, because they have their big marketing campaign. They have when you first hear about it, maybe an announcement. Then you have the press day. It's at the studio and they're filming, which is kind of turned into a featured article literally a couple of months before the actual movie comes out. Then you go into the trailers. It's a slow build up, but with games, they try to do the same thing, but they give too much of it away. I mean, yes, all right, games are big, they're massive. Even if you have a game that's you can walk through in 20 hours, a single player campaign, that's still almost 18 hours worth more of entertainment than you get out of movies these days. So yes, there's a lot more content to go through, but I feel it's spoiling a lot more with people. So that goes into the next little bit. I feel now, because of marketing momentum, the dreaded day one patch. I just don't get it. Back in the day, they release a game and it was complete. I mean, they tested the damn thing out. Maybe because they did games more in the secret and people didn't know about these games until literally a few months before, and then they see it on the shelves. So they had more time to perfect the game. Maybe also these games were a lot smaller in content and size because of limited technology. As compared to today, when back then you may have a couple of megabytes to put onto a cartridge, but now you got 40 odd gigs worth of information on a Blu-ray disc, and up to 80 if you go for the dual layered ones. So there's a massive loads of content that these developers are trying to do, and the games are a lot more complicated. But then I also look at how technology's changed. And back then you may have had a developer may have had 10 to 20 people working on a game. Now they got hundreds of people working, spending millions to make these games. And yet, here you go. Oh, by the way, you've got to have internet access to be able to download the big patch because we fucked up. And it pisses me off. Every single game that gets released always ends up having a patch to fix something on the damn game. I mean, how bad are games these days that, even all the Assassin's Creeds that came out, it was over the last year or two, and all of them are just, they're the same game, but why are they so buggy? All of these silly games are just so buggy. Even GTA had a day one patch. I mean, I thought it would have been good. But back then, these games, here you go, even though from the PS2, Xbox, up until we got into the PS3, Xbox 360 time, before patches came in. And I mean, why are they mucking up so bad? I know these games are complicated and everything, and it costs a lot of money, but why? Are they mucking up? Are they just bad at it? I mean, they finish a game, okay? They finish a game months before it's released as well. So they've had all this time to actually perfect it. And this is where you get the day one release, day one patch. Yeah, why couldn't they just do that in the damn first place? It just gets on my nerves a little bit, this day one patches. But there is a benefit nowadays with the internet and downloadable content, is that they can keep on after the initial release of the game. Even if it's a great game, you can now download more of the game. You can download better, more missions, more levels, better costumes, all sorts. Maybe sometimes for a price, or sometimes they just give it to you because they just want to keep you playing that game. And yeah, I like that aspect. That's the only thing. Then the other cartridge-based place, all back in the day, is that you got your game, that's it. You know, you can't add to it. The only thing you can pretty much do there is find the secrets and unlock cheats that the developers left into the game. So yes, okay, you got that one little aspect, but at this point, yeah, I buy a cartridge, I know it's going to be a complete game. Maybe they may have mucked up on a sprite that wasn't particularly drawn very well. The bad guy flickers, or there's sometimes but those games, they're broken. Yeah, which is a shame. But yeah, but that's what it was back in those days. But they tested them, and to be honest, throughout my entire years of playing games, I haven't come across too many games that were just broken, and because the developers just couldn't be bothered to fix it. Yes, there are a few, of course, but of course you got to look. Nowadays, these big, massive 3D worlds, and you got a guy, you know, you see a character in the corner just walking endlessly into a wall. Yeah, there's just these games getting so complicated. So, just coming back, yeah, I think the worst thing now is people are expecting more out of their games. They're expecting better graphics, better sound, better gameplay, better features, faster loading frames, higher rates of frame rates. They're just expecting so much more out of their entertainment. I mean, back in the day, we were just happy with a sprite going boink, 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 and that was it. We were just happy with that. That was the technology of the time, which was very advanced. So, but how much do we really need? I mean, you see the indie market now, and that's all they make. They make little sprites, and they go doink, doink, doink. There's not many massive independent indie games that are massive 3D worlds, because they haven't got the money to build these sort of things. So they make fun, simple gameplay, mechanical games, and which is a great thing for the indie market. But I look at these big games, and they're just like massive 3D worlds, lots of money, and yet you could still get the same entertainment value back in the day when what we now have, all this retro market. Is why everybody still loves these things. That's because they were just simple gameplay mechanics which are still used today. You got to remember that they still use the same platforming technology or techniques that Mario used. Even when you transition into 3D world, they're still using the same sort of technology and same mechanical principles in that game, and they are now. So I just, it's just, I don't know, I just get pissed off with the whole world. Yeah, I kind of wish they would dial down the marketing a little bit more. I mean, why do things have to cost this much money to make? People getting greedy. Yeah, I'm very talented, you need to pay me millions of dollars to do this. Yeah, big deal. Shut up. Yeah. So, yeah, tell me out. Drop me a line, see what you think. Write in the comments. If you like this video, yay! If you want to see more, please subscribe to my channel, Greenfly Gamer. And thank you very much. Until the next one. Bye.